Good morning.
Happy Monday.
It is indeed. And it's October, so it's beautiful up here. We had rain all weekend, but I don't know. I don't know. Jenny, my sister, texted me and asked me if I was getting stuff because of some hurricane. And I'm like,
Yep.
should I be watching the news? Is there something going on?
Probably you should.
I guess that's what happens when you get I don't know. I just do Netflix, and I haven't watched live TV since like May, so I'm kind of oblivious to what's going on in the world, which I'm okay with. But we did get rain for 2 solid days, so I don't know when all that happened. But
Yeah,
hopefully everybody's okay.
yeah. I haven't seen either because I try not to watch the live news either. But it did rain here all weekend as well, almost all weekend as well. I was getting ready to go to the beach yesterday, and as we were like getting dressed around 1 o'clock, the Kelsey news equals Facebook. Yep.
Yeah, that's basically it. So I guess if everything is fine.
Oh, that's so funny. I just commented and it's showing me that I haven't joined the StreamYard group.
That's weird because normally you always show up.
Yeah. So I just updated that.
And I don't even see mine.
Yeah,
Maybe
I don't know.
hit enter. I don't know. Technology, it's wonderful when it works, right?
Right? Exactly.
So it was so fun watching all of the vision boards. And my big question is, I'm curious if all of these sharing was actually, if they've ever done vision boarding before, because I know at first, and I know I mentioned this last week, I mean, I thought it was a little silly, but after doing it and staring visually at these goals, it was really a game changer. Like I've always done the written goals, and I try to always review it quarterly just to stay on track. But really having those other visual goals like in front of me every single day in my office, it really was a game changer to reflect and remind myself of my goals and remind myself to go and double check that more than just quarterly. So I wasn't, I don't know, I was curious if others had done vision boarding before. I know, a lot of our agents, they have, in the group, we have about 70 people registered, but only, I think, 35 members in the actual group. So, and I know we have agents all over the world. So, of course, those in like Australia, South Africa, they're in the future. So they have to watch the replays, and just know we do send those out as soon as I can download our video and upload it into BombBomb. We send those out, but because it's coming from BombBomb and to us, it may go to that promotional tab, but just make sure to check on that. I try to get that out as soon as I can, and we'll include the homework and stuff like that. But definitely keep checking, and just if you use Gmail, you can drag and drop, add us to the safe, um, your regular inbox, and that way you can get those recaps, replays. And if you're not in the group, the link is always in those emails. Join in the group, because I know we only have about half in the group. So definitely do that.
Yeah. And so what I thought was interesting is because you were doing the vision board digitally, you had so many more options, right? And I can't believe the creativity at what everybody did, and everybody's was so incredibly different. But I loved it. Like I loved it. It was so like it just there were so many more options to get words and pictures and thoughts on the vision board because they were digital. That in the future, if we do this live, like a live in a classroom setting, do we tell everybody to bring their laptops so they can vision board digitally if they want, instead of cutting and pasting, or they can
and
have.
I know whenever I've done them, any of my key elements of my vision board, I always put them on like a piece of paper and printed it and then cut and paste, because gosh, we would collect magazines for months and months and months, but not all are great for what I need. I mean,
well,
keywords.
And our first year, that's what you did. You had printed some stuff up, and I was like, why didn't I do that? Like, what? Is that cheating? No, that's not cheating. That's like being prepared, So, yeah, totally awesome. Oh, good morning. Everybody's jumping in. Hi, Julie. Hi, Melissa. Glad to see you guys here. So
yes, I absolutely love that. So everybody who had posted, I think we got even the ones that posted up to this morning, up until our live.
Yeah.
So we put everybody in a bucket.
Yep.
Carrie has the better bucket. I don't really have buckets. So she's going to do a name draw. So I'm going to do the drum roll. I'm not a very good drum roller.
And what are they winning, Heather?
What are they winning? Is that like a $25 Amazon gift card?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
And the winner is Sarah Steele.
Yay!
Congratulations, Sarah. You will get the gift card via email from Amazon.
Yes. So we will send that over, send you a message. Congratulations. And thank you, everyone, for participating. I hope it was fun for you to actually think about all of that.
And actually, because I have these fun books sitting here to give away, ABCs of CMA from Kelly Kellogg, a local appraiser. I'm going to pull one more just because I'm feeling excited.
Ooh.
All right, let's see. The winner is, it jumped out. I guess we'll go with that one. Melissa Horn.
Hey, Melissa.
Congratulations, Melissa.
At least that one's easy. You just walk to the back of the office, right?
Exactly, and she's here because she made me a green smoothie for lunch. We're trying to eat healthy, and
as part of the vision boarding. Awesome.
Awesome. So let's jump right into kind of where we go from here now that we've got our vision boards done.
Awesome.
So part of your vision boarding is be who you want to be, or what. Do what do you want to do, or have what do you want to have. So hopefully,
some deep thoughts when you think about it.
Yeah, they are very, very deep. So hopefully, as you were choosing your photos and your thoughts and your posts for your vision board, you were able to think about these three things and really think about how your best year ever. So what would be your best year ever? So our next exercise is just that, best year ever. What one goal, milestone, or achievement in each of these areas would you love to achieve? So looking at all of these, physical, mental health or energy, mindset, emotion, professional, relationship or partner, friends and family, financial income, and fun time, fun time. So one goal for each of those things is what you want to, because I think if you set more than one, it can be really overwhelming. And so this is 7 different things. So it's kind of 7 different goals. What are you wanting? So, everybody knows I talk about this all the time. For me, it's physical health, energy is committing to exercising however many days a week.
Just not at 4:30 in the morning?
I don't think I can do 4:30. Like, I think I need to be realistic about this. I was thinking about this a lot last night, actually. And I think I need to be realistic about this. So this year, my son is going to school in person. And a friend of his and his mother is my friend, but we decided to carpool rather than sending them on the bus. So she drives them in the morning because she works across the street at the church across the street, and I do the pickup in the afternoon. So I was thinking about this and I thought, maybe this makes sense. Maybe I do the pickup in the afternoon, and it's really hard to come back to the office at 4:00. So maybe that's when I get on my Peloton and I ride my bike at 4:15 for a half an hour, and then I can sit back in front of my computer and check my messages and continue to work. So I think that's so there's my goal is to exercise 3 to 4 times a week, and the action or the habit is that I'll do it when I get home from school with the kid.
Right. And I think, I mean, even like the next page, it's so interesting because when I look at these pages now, it is completely different than when I've looked at these pages in past years, because it's super, and I mean, because I think everything had changed, even like the mindset and emotion is completely different this year than past years.
Yes, for sure. For sure. You know,
not only with the COVID, but elections and just social media and just society and just everything in general. It's just, I look at these different, and I think my goals, my habits will completely are just in a different mindset than they were previous years. So it's,
yeah. You know, and I have to say for me, and we always have this mantra here at REMAX Elite that family's first. But honestly, for me, this year with being at home a lot more, family and personal relationships is really, really something to look at. You know, it's funny that my sister texted me and she's like, Kelly Clarkson's getting a divorce because of COVID. And, you know, I guess she was working from home, and maybe, you know, I'm sure that wasn't what did it, but I imagine all this at home togetherness made some people realize maybe they're not happy or they're, but you know, now's really a good time to figure out how and what you're going to do different to focus on your family and your personal, your you know, your relationship with your partner. I think that this is 2021 is a good year for us to figure out. And then that would add to the fun free time. I mean, I know all of us on here, when I look at all the people commenting, everybody works so hard, and our industry kind of demands that we work nights or on weekends. And, you know, we can manage that, and that's part of our setting our, you know, our schedule. We can manage it, but it's still hard. You know, you get the text from a panicked buyer at 10 o'clock on Saturday night, and you're awake and you see it. So of course you're going to respond, and maybe they're just having a meltdown because it's a big move for them or something. So we work so much, and we always try to make sure our customers know that they are at the top of mind for us and that we are always here for them. That balance is sometimes hard in this industry.
It's super hard. And I know even I had so many goals and so many things up here to be able to do this whole summer, but with COVID, it was, you know, I don't want to go out there, or there were so many trips and vacations, and, you know, it's like really completely changing everything. Just made it a little harder for sure. I think we all are learning something. So,
yeah. I think so too. I mean, I think we've all learned a lot about ourselves. I think we've learned a lot about each other, and how you decide to go from there. You know, is in the middle of all of this. Barbara just posted real quick, and if you saw her picture come up, that was her and her best friend, who's like a sister to her, and she just passed from cancer last week. You know, it's a tough time having someone pass, and then yeah, it makes you reflect. It makes you think about your interpersonal relationships. So
for sure.
So anyway, okay. So over the next week, you want to work on that worksheet on what is your one goal, what's the outcome, and what's the action of the habit that's going to get you there for each of those 7 topics. And then on to rate yourself. So let's look at yourself and see how you are today, so that we can determine what things going forward you need to work on. So, you know, this conversation I have had a lot within the last week with Melissa Horn, business systems. She's probably good at it, but she wants to get better at it, and she really wants to get her systems in place. So it's like I don't want to say robot. That's not but you know what I mean? It's just, it becomes natural, and you just do it, and you have the checklists and the worksheets, and you're working on your business systems. Making sure that you have multiple business resources. So like I always say, pick the 3 or 4 that you like and that you're good at, and then add 1 or 2, I'm not, like I've always say, I'm never going to door knock, not going to do it. But maybe I'll start cold calling this year. Maybe that'll be a thing. Maybe I'll start circle prospecting. Yeah, I don't know if I will or not, but or if you don't do a lot of Facebook, maybe that's something you should be doing. If you haven't been doing a lot of it. And it's not always, to me, the Facebook or the social media is very organic. I get referrals from people I went to high school with, because their parents are getting ready to sell their house, or they're getting ready. I had a couple, it's 2 years ago now, a friend from high school who, they're not retiring, but they're getting ready to retire. So they sold their home in Orlando, bought a condo on the ocean, and they are living their best life. I mean, they post about it, but that came through Facebook, So where are you in a positive mindset? That's a tough one.
Big. That's big.
That's a tough one. And I try to be positive, and I try to be positive all the time. I have my moments where I'm like, and you just cursing under your breath. But, I think I'm kind of that person who I want everybody to be successful. I think everybody's gorgeous. I mean, like, I don't ever look at somebody and go, oh, I think everybody, I kind of think we're all great in our own way, so
everybody has their strengths. Everybody has their weaknesses. Yep. And trying to uplift and empower on the differences. For me, that mindset is, my best thing was creating a playlist. For me, that's big. And I really miss, even when we were at VOC and, oh my gosh, I forgot his name. And everybody's just kind of dancing. I miss dancing. So I know, like, before I would speak or before any big event, my big thing was getting in the correct mindset. And I have a playlist from when we went to Tony Robbins, and I don't even know, was that like 7 years ago? I mean, that was a long time ago, but I have the playlist. So I have the Tony Robbins, UPW, and Tom Ferry Summit playlist, my favorite songs. And it's for me, just playing those songs, or like right now, this time of year, putting that playlist on and going for a drive in the mountains to see the beautiful colors, that is what puts me in the correct mindset, because I think right now it's super easy to fall back on that. But it's, that mindset is big for me, for sure. So.
Yeah. I that just made the light bulb go off in my head. I listen to talk radio a lot, and I just, it's so easy to actually play your phone over your car, or at least it is in mine. And maybe that's what I do. Maybe I turn that off. I don't want to just listen to random radio, and I put on my playset. I think that's a great.
I had the CDs from when we did the Tom Ferry Sales Power, and it was that constant. It was the agent CDs. I mean, that's what I used to play. And my back then, like, I had a minivan, and my husband made it so we could watch DVDs. So we used to. I wouldn't really watch because I was driving, but it was just playing on there, and it was so funny because my daughter was young and she thought Tom Ferry was Chef Ramsay.
That's funny. That's awesome. My kids, they think I'm nuts. They do. They're like, what kind of nonsense are you listening to now? But all I can think is, I know some of it's soaked in. I know they've heard it, whether they begrudgingly heard it or not. I know some of it soaked in. I'm, I don't know if some of you saw my post from a couple weeks ago, but my ex-husband did a post about my oldest son, and they were at a traffic light, and there was a person asking for money at the light. And my ex-husband went through this whole thing in his head of, should I give money? Shouldn't I give money? I want to set a good example for my son. Oh my God, what should I do? And with that, this is all going on in my ex-husband's head. My son, who was driving, like, opens his console and finds all he had was a $20 bill, opens the window, gives it to the woman, and says, "Get well." And so the point of that is clearly, yes, Julie, kids are always listening, whether they wanted to or not. So as you're maybe getting yourself in the positive mindset, listening to your tapes and stuff. I'm sure Melissa's son, Donnie, how old is Donnie? 2, 3, 4, maybe he's 4. He is going to come out as a salesman. I can feel it because he's been to the office and he listens to probably all the tapes that Melissa listens to, which brings us to the next thing, which is strong sales foundation. If you don't feel like you have a strong sales foundation, if you're low there, either get into coaching. There's so much free coaching out there. Google it, look for it. He's 4, Donnie's 4. He's so darn cute. I can't stand it. But there's so many, actually, if you can't afford it, there's free coaching. There's so much. A lot of the coaches give away a lot of stuff for free because they don't feel like you'll be able to do it on your own. Yes, Kelsey, podcasts and seminars. There is unlimited information out there. So if you need a strong sales foundation, Google it. Google GTS. Like we always say, Google that stuff. How is your influence and your language skills? Again, that's something that you need to practice. You need to, how do you say that? Run scripts. Oh, my screen just went out. Dang it. I'm having an issue with the connection on my screens. So I'm just going to look at the camera and hope it comes back up. Converting objections. Role playing. That's what I'm saying. Converting objections. Do you have objections come up, and do you know how to convert those objections? And if you don't, find a role-playing partner or go to your broker, because we're not just talking to people from REMAX Elite. If you don't know how to overcome an objection, text me, call me. Hopefully I've been through it and I can share how to do that. Or have a partner. When I first started working at REMAX Elite, I was in office with 3 other agents, then one left and another one came in, and then another one came in and then she left. But there was 4 of us that were in there for a good 8 years together. And it was so awesome because we were able to, if I was having an issue or one of the other ones was having an issue, we would just rant about it or talk about it. And then everybody else had an example or they'd been through it before, and you could learn from each other. So if you need help with some of those things,
I think accountability partners, the role playing. I really think we had agents, they come in at like 5 o'clock in the morning and just they role play together. It's insane. And we're all in this private group together. So if you are looking for an accountability partner, someone to role play or anything like that, make sure to comment in the groups, and let's make some connections into Recharging 2021. So we're all here, we're all in this together, we're all in different markets, and we all have our strengths, we all have our weaknesses, but I think that's what makes us stronger together, for sure. But go through each of these, rate yourself. Where are you right now, today? Where are you? By being honest and answering these questions, you'll know where your room for improvement will be. And we'll kind of get into that as we go through the business planning. So,
there's a lot of great things here. Defending your fee. Are you good at that? Are you not good at it? Do you need to work on it? Where are you with market knowledge and stats? That's one of my favorite things. Alice, you're right. Our agents are valuable resources for each other, and we learn a lot within our private REMAX Elite group. But where are you with your stats and your market knowledge? Are your buyers loyal?
That's big, because if they're not, there's always room for improvement on any of this. I don't know that anybody's going to have a 10 going across the board. And loyal buyers is, repeat business. That's huge, because it's always easier, instead of chasing new business, to have that repeat and referral business. So by having those loyal buyers and there's always room for improvement. I know a lot of our agents, they do, appreciation parties, or they're really good at sending out those note cards. There's so many things that you can be doing to improve on. And then that goes with anything on this list. There's always room for improvement.
That is true. That is true. Are you giving great customer service? Or do you think you are, and maybe you're not? How's your time management? Are you time blocking? Are you trying to stick to it as best as you can? Are you defending your fee, but are you able to negotiate your commission if necessary, and or to present your value? If they're saying, well, Susie Q will do it for whatever percent, we can't talk about that. So Susie Q will do it for this percent. Are you able to defend your value, or are you able to walk away if the person is expecting you to do it for a lower percent and you're not willing to, I mean, you are the expert. So go through all of these, rate yourself, and then this will give you a basis for what you really need to work on.
Angela, I agree, and you are not alone. Between systems and time management, that is so crucial, I think, just in real estate itself because of how crazy it is. But you're not alone, because that is probably one of the biggest things I hear about all the time.
Oh yeah, totally. Or you just get sidetracked. I was doing this, and then, oh my gosh, if you guys can see, I have 2 other desks over here. They're just covered with crap I need to clean up, but I get sidetracked. Like, I'll start cleaning it up, and then I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore, and I move on to something else. So
I'll bring a lot.
So now the SWOT analysis. Strengths. What are your strengths? What do you excel at? What advantage does it give you when you excel at that? And what are others saying about you strength wise? Are you getting your reviews, and what are your customers saying about you? So you want to play on those strengths. You want to make sure that's part of your listing presentation or your buyer presentation or your sales pitch. And then take a look at, what are your weaknesses? Have you received the same criticism from multiple people? And if you have, chances are it's you and something you need to change, not those several other people. That's a tough one. That's a tough reality to when you look at something and you say, whatever it is, oh my gosh, every deal I have is really, really difficult. Is it really, really difficult because of those 4 other people in those deals? Or is it really difficult maybe because you need to change your mindset? This is what we hear a lot, which is funny if you guys are in any of the agents like Agent Mastermind or Lab Code Agents, where somebody will ask a question and everybody will attack them. Instead of attacking, come from a place of help. Come from a place of, okay, well, if they're asking this, what appears to be a really stupid question, clearly they don't know the answer, and clearly maybe coming from a place of being helpful will help. So, sometimes you get a deal and you're doing it with a new agent who's never written a contract before, and their broker is just not helpful. Maybe that's your chance to teach, and help them. So
and we all were there at one point. All were there, and I think sometimes, it's hard to remember what those first couple deals were like, because the real estate test is black and white, and real estate in general is completely gray, and every transaction is different. And I think we learn something from every transaction as well. So yeah, for sure. So, and what causes you to lose a listing or a sale? I've seen a couple of instances recently, thankfully not in our office as I knock on wood, but because a deal fell apart, and the way the agent communicated with the seller about it made the seller feel like the agent wasn't an expert or wasn't good at what they were doing. Because we all know deals fall apart. It's not our fault, but how we handle it really makes a huge difference. So are you losing sales or listings
because of something that you can change or make better? What do others see as your weakness? And could that come up when you're on a listing appointment if you're up against someone that you know in the industry who can maybe play on that? And what are your competitors doing that you may not be doing that maybe you should or could be doing? You know, we have some top producers in this office who are not on Facebook. So clearly, you know, that's working for them. But maybe they should look at some of the people who are on Facebook and see, hey, maybe if I added this in, I could really even increase my goal for this year. You know, maybe for them, that's something that they add in. What opportunities are out there for you? What are the market trends? What are some changes and issues in government as it relates to real estate or community growth? What's going on in community? Is there growth happening? I mean, where we live, we still have tons and tons of undeveloped property, which is I mean, I was driving down Heritage Parkway the other day. I mean, you know, all those cows are going to go away eventually.
They've had the for sale sign since before it really even opened up.
Yeah.
No, it's going to happen, and I don't know. I mean, it's all about the growth, and now that, you know, the different interchanges have happened even in the South, it's always changing, and especially our area, it's, you know, the growth is crazy with, you know, all the, you know, the rockets and
So what's going on in your community? Is there opportunity for growth or social patterns within age groups? I know, Kelsey, I grew up here. I've lived here since I was 12. And for those of you that are from here, I lived south of Palm Bay Road. Palm Bay Road there was no exit to 95, and it did not even go over 95. It ended at Hollywood Boulevard. So you take Palm Bay Road, you turn right onto Hollywood Boulevard to go to my grandmother's house, and she lived by 192, right before 192 in a manufactured home park back there. And from however many miles that is, 4, I think it is, I mean, it was all cows. And now it's all houses. It's just amazing. But so social patterns, what's happening? I think late last night.
Babies.
What? COVID babies? Well, yeah. Right. I saw late last night, and I can't remember, and I don't want to misquote it, but I'm not sure if it was Google or somewhere else where they were going to say they're going to 100% working from home. Well, what does that mean? That means mom and dad, or mom and mom, or dad and dad, or whoever's living in their house, each needs an office to work from home. Do you need more bedrooms so you can have an office? Or is this open floor plan where it's the kitchen with the dining room and the family room all in one big room? Are people going to find that that's not working for them anymore? Do they want a separate living room from the family room so that, you know, mom can be in one room and teenage kid can be in another room? But are we going to see a lot more things happening at home? Are we going to see that people's lifestyle and how they're living within their house is going to change, and their need for housing is going to change? So
I think between, you know, the divorces and the COVID babies, a lot of opportunities.
Yes, for sure. Yes, Kelsey, that does mean people may need bigger homes if they're working from home. You know, I am working with a gentleman who just relocated here for Harris L3, and he's a single guy, so it's just him. But since he relocated here to work for Harris L3, and he's been working from home since he got here. So it's like, did he even really need to move here? You know, but it's coming into consideration when he buys his house. You know, he's like, well, I definitely want an extra office. Definitely.
Yeah, both my parents live in Virginia. Both of them work for, you know, Harris L3 and Nuance or Dictaphone or whatever.
Whatever it used to be.
But they both, I mean, they work completely remotely. My sister-in-law, she's in Atlanta. She works for Harris. So, I mean, it's just crazy because we can't, and I work, you know, with you guys, and I'm in Tennessee. So
right. So
it's
that's
just
going to change.
The new normal.
I mean, we're seeing people wanting to move out of big cities, and they're picking areas like here. So where are your opportunities, and how can you How can you use the how can you use those opportunities to reach out to more buyers and sellers? And then what are the threats? What obstacles are you facing in your personal and your business life? Here's one. Are you threatened by technology? Are you threatened? But yeah, New York City as well. They're leaving. New York City. Like my sister lives in a part of Connecticut. It's about 2 hours from New York City, and it's been kind of slow and kind of level for many years. And they are getting a huge uptick because people are fleeing New York City. But are you threatened by technology? So do you need to work on your technology? Whether it's using a CRM or using something like Asana, which gives you checklists and schedules, your procedures for things. Are there new specifications or real estate changes that you need to adjust to? Maybe
no inventory.
Right, no inventory, or working virtually, or explaining to your seller that somebody who's buying your house sight unseen may not be a bad thing because that's the only way they can see the house right now. Maybe they live in a place where if they come here, they're going to have to quarantine for 2 weeks, and then it's too much. So what are the threats, and how can you overcome the threats? Do you have any bad debt or cash flow issues? Is 2021 the year for you to work on? So look through your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and then make a list of those on the facing page so that you know where you need to work, what you need to do. And then here's the one. I love this. Thoughts matter. Thoughts matter. The quality of your world is directly related to the way that you think, and limited thinking leads to limited world of scarcity. Unlimited leads to an unlimited world of abundance. And that the choice is yours. I mean, you can talk negatively to yourself and to others, or you can choose to talk positively to yourself. So write 5 limited beliefs that you have, which is, maybe here's one. Well, I'm not from wherever you're selling houses, so I really don't have the sphere of influence that other agents have.
I mean, this sheet here is always huge for me because I think I'm constantly telling myself these limited beliefs. Even doing these, the videos or, the live classes that we're doing in the groups, I'm always telling myself limited beliefs. Like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I know all the tools, pretty much. I mean, I live them every day, but I'm always thinking, well, what if I say something wrong? What if there's been a change, or, something has changed, or what if I upset somebody because I don't believe in what they're doing, or I don't want to offend somebody. I'm constantly, I mean, it's this limited belief that I'm always feeding myself. That was probably my biggest hurdle, and even doing all those classes, openly.
Right.
And finally I had to tell myself, like, it's okay. Like, I'm only human. I want to be able to help people. I feel I know these, and if I screw up, well, I screw up. I'm only human, and things are constantly changing. But this here has always been such a hurdle for me.
I think we all self-talk to ourselves, not always great. So with the one of say, I'm not from whatever town you're selling in, so my sphere of influence is much smaller. So how do you rewrite that to talk to yourself in a positive manner? The fact that I'm not from wherever, Melbourne, means that I have an unlimited sphere of influence. I'm not going to limit myself just to the people I went to high school with, or just to the people I socialize with. I have an unlimited sphere of influence. That's a way to rewrite it. Or Kelsey, that's always a thing with Kelsey. I look too young to be taken seriously. I'm a younger agent, but experienced and smart as hell and determined. Kelsey looks young, and she is young. She just had, I believe, her 29th birthday. And, but she's been doing this for 10 years, I think, so she's more experienced than most.
And I remember that when I first had got my license and went out, like I had been, agent, I had 7 agents that I did everything for. So I would get gifts at closing and stuff, but I was the person behind the phone, just making it happen. Yeah. But I realized, like, when I went out and met with people, it was completely different. And I started wearing like different clothes and wearing my hair up. And I just felt like I was changing as a person to match expectations of people because I wasn't being taken seriously. And it's like, this is crazy because I've been doing this for all these people while they're on vacation and I'm just making it all happen. What are you talking about? But I know I completely get that, Kelsey. That's super hard, especially when the average, realtor's like older.
Yeah, it's something like 58
or 55 or 56.
I mean, yeah, it's up there, So yeah, it's just find your way to overcome that, or to self-talk to yourself in a way that is positive, not the negative, not the negative. Now, yeah, I need to apply that to my whole working out thing. Clearly, that is the cross that I bear, getting myself to exercise and be healthy. And I think that stems from, I was very, very thin as a child and into my mid to late 20s, very thin. And if you saw a picture of my 2 boys last night, I was like the skinny one, not like the one who's a little more chunky. So I never really had to exercise, or, because back then in the 80s and 90s, exercise really had to do with weight loss, less about keeping yourself healthy, I think. So now it's just a whole thing for you. Thanks, Alice.
I know my sister and I were just talking about that when we were, like size 3 and 5, and we thought we were, larger.
Right.
It's like, dang, had we known,
yep,
our wardrobe would have probably been a whole lot different.
Right? So, right? It's so true. It's so true. Oh my goodness. So what is your plan? Who do we have to be? What do we have to do so that we can have what we want? We will dream big, find our future focus, and stay accountable to achieve our goals. So find an accountability partner, or do it within somebody in this group, or if you have someone in your office. And it doesn't always have to be somebody that's on the same wavelength as you, honestly. Sometimes if someone's on a little bit of a different wavelength, you get a different glimpse at ideas of how to do something, and that may not be a bad thing. You don't always want to get information from people who think just like you.
I remember that time when we did the Sales Power, and we actually teamed up with an office in Boston.
Yes.
To do the Sales Power, and everyone, we kind of match make based on strengths, weaknesses. That was so interesting and fun because they had no idea who these people were. I think we tried to do the whole Google so we could meet each other virtually. And this was, gosh, that was a long time ago.
I know.
To even do that, like, whoa.
Right.
That would be like no big deal, but there wasn't Zoom. So I think we had to use Google Chat, or I don't
know what we were using, to be honest with you. I agree. It's so funny.
It was pretty cool to just match make and everyone got like different prizes, but the accountability was both partners. But we did try to team up on strengths, weaknesses, and the markets were a little different, I think. But it was definitely pretty cool. So you don't have to, it doesn't have to be someone in your actual office, but there are REMAX agents all over. So,
right.
If you just post in one of the groups, in our group, like, make it happen. Ask your broker to, let your broker know, and like, hey, let's team up with this office or another office and let's make it happen. You'd be surprised.
Yep. I'm going to start for 2021 something that's called Foursquare Coaching and Accountability. So it'll be probably 3 agents or 4 agents plus myself, and we'll meet whatever that group decides, whether it's every 2 weeks, once a week, once a month, virtually, and where we'll discuss topics, we'll discuss accountability, and depending on how many sign up, we might have one group, we might have 6 groups. So, and that'll be a good way for people to learn from each other and to stay accountable. So you should have gotten, did we get this when we signed up for homework or no?
No, I think that's a different section.
Oh, that's the other site. Okay. So now here's your homework. This, I hate to say, people, this is the least fun homework you're going to do. But we want you to go.
It's probably one of the most important, though, other than like week 1 or the pre-homework, which we'll get into next week. And I think if anybody's ever been in coaching, this is probably one of the first assignments you get. And as ugly as it may be, it, for me, was, I did not like doing it. It's just not fun. But, oh my gosh, like it was the most insightful.
It's eye-opening. It's eye-opening, So how much are you spending on your business each year, each month, annually, and monthly? So you go through and do that because are you spending too much money on advertising and direct mail and this and that? I mean, is your budget way too high for the amount of money you're bringing in? Or
not only that is, I think, when we go to conventions and events, which obviously probably doesn't happen all that much, but even in groups, we're always out to try that shiny new object. And it was me actually going through statements like, oh my gosh, I forgot I signed up for this and I'm paying $50, $100 a month for it. And I haven't used it. So if I haven't used it in 6 months and forgot I even had it, I'm going to give me that $50 to $100 back every month because I'm not even paying attention to what's happening. So that's where, for me, this assignment was huge. And I think I told you before, like, I didn't realize I was paying all this amount of money for, like, my son must have had my credit card on whatever gaming stuff he had. And now I'm paying for like YouTube Red, or I don't even know. I think that's like commercial free or web ad free YouTube. Right. And I'm like, dude, you have a full-time job. You need to get this over. Like, I don't even pay for that for myself. Like, I watch the ads, that pop up. There's
I just went through all of that during this COVID. I was like, oh, wait, I'm paying for Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Hulu. And then my BFF pays for YouTube TV. And with YouTube TV, you can have 3 subscribers. So I'm 6. One per subscriber. Oh, 6? Okay, so that
one 6 family members. So like my mom, my in-laws.
So yeah, so I
have to watch Tennessee news. And then every couple months I have to resync it, but yeah.
So I'm getting that for free from her, but I realized, okay, there's nothing on Hulu right now we're watching. Why am I paying for this? And do I need, 3 or 4 different pay channels? So we scaled back on that, got rid of Hulu for now, got rid of, we had 2 subscriptions going to YouTube itself. And I was like, wait a minute, this is absurd,
Yeah. So, I mean, this is as ugly as it may be. I mean, hopefully you are doing this often. I pretty much only do this like once a year when I'm, doing everything for the year. But going through it and actually looking at what's being taken out, or what am I paying for this? Am I actually using it? It's all about working smarter, not harder. And I know with any shiny new object or system, like, you should always give it at least 6 months, like a true effort. And is there a positive return on that investment? Is there something else that you could be using? I mean, you have all these, the websites, and a lot of people are paying, $200 a month for a website. Are you actually using that website? Are you blogging? Like, is there a need for it? Maybe there's a different website, I mean, Boosh is free. If you just need a presence, you probably don't need to be paying $200 a month unless you're really using that website. There's so many things out there. It's about working smarter, not harder, and just using the systems that, whether, your franchise, I mean, I think almost everybody here is with REMAX. So using all the REMAX tools, or, other things. So it's really looking at all of these statements. What are you paying for? What else could possibly be out there to help you, save money and make things work for you?
Exactly. So do your 2020 expenses and then do your budget for 2021. Where do you want to scale back? Where do you want to spend more? And then do the same for your personal expenses. Because when we start to figure out what your goal is for income for 2021, we need to know what you're spending. How much is your car bill? How much is your housing? Because if your goal for 2021 is less than what your expenses are, we need to up your game, Heidi, I personally am the worst at this. I'm the worst at keeping track of my expenses and stuff, but I do have an assistant who makes sure everything is in Quicken, and so I look at Quicken often. I also have a business planning template that I'm fixing right now. So I have like a business tracker that I'm happy to share with everybody. It'll take me a week or so because this is silly. It's in a color scheme that I don't care for, so I'm changing it to the REMAX color scheme. But I'm happy to share that tracker with you, which tracks sales and expenses, and it has a time management portion to it. And then it has a thing for goal setting and what your bucket list is and kind of stuff and you can move the tabs around to whatever you want. So once I get that cleaned up, I'm happy to share that with everybody.
And then the question was, what systems do you use on a weekly basis? So I'm not sure if that was just with the expenses part of it or if that was just systems in general. And I know I use like Asana.
Right.
I like that because I like the different views and I really like checking stuff off. So I see that. That's why I was writing my book, but I use Asana. We use that for the office, or we were not so much after kind of COVID happened. It kind of went down. And I use Google Drive, actually, Google Docs is kind of where I use that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, Google is a big thing for me, like Google Drive and Google Calendar, just to keep me on track, and just for when I have a contract or a listing, my assistant takes everything and she puts it in the calendar, the Google Calendar, because for me it works best to have everything in one place. So she puts everything in the Google Calendar. It has its own color. So green is the color, I guess, because that's how we're making money. I don't know why she chose green, but I'm going to guess that's why. And, everything for a transaction is in Google Calendar. I've been trying to really get myself up to speed on Booge and try to use that more. And then I use this tracker that I'm going to send you guys because it has different tabs. And in all of them, you can put, it has each month, and you can put, what upcoming closings I have and how much are you making, so you can see if there's a month where you're missing.
It does all of that as well.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
Yeah, that's why I say I'm trying to get myself up to speed on Booge, because I know Booge is really dynamic and can do a lot of things, but it's just
I don't use it for that, but I've seen it. So
yeah. So that's it. Your homework, right, is our expenses.
And it's the least fun of all the homework, other than that initial homework, which, when you got registered, and also in the group, we have it uploaded in the file section. So you'll want to have that done for next week, because that's when we'll be using that information. So it's the least favorite. Still post that you've done it. And I would think, obviously, you're not going to be posting your expenses or anything like that. Maybe the GIF, finding a GIF of your experience of it.
Like that.
Right. It could be anything. It could be like the aha moment, like, oh my gosh, because for me, it was an aha moment. I actually saved myself $500 a month when I did this, because I had no idea how many systems and stuff I was paying for on a monthly basis that I was not using enough to actually warrant what I was paying for. So basically post your GIF of the experience of this using the hashtag RECHARGE2021 for a chance to win next week when we go in there. But yeah, not, yes, they will be, Karen, because I thought, what, it's not like we're going to be posting pictures of our expenses, but the experience, what happens when you actually do your homework. I want, whether the stress of it, sad, you're crying, whatever it is. I want to see those gifts. That can be, the fun part of the homework, but definitely I think the expenses, it's something any coach is going to probably make you do. So
yeah, it's pretty much the first thing in coaching. I mean,
yeah, but
different.
You have to know your numbers. Otherwise you're just on a wing and a prayer. But knowing your numbers and what you actually paid for, all of this is super insightful. And I think it only helps us as we build your actual business planning. And now we have those visual goals. So it's just, it's not fun, but it happens. So I think that's it. I will be sending the replay. Make sure to join the group if you're not in there, because I know we kind of have this all over the place. I know we only have about half in the group that have signed up. So, and yes, we use that. And I think that I don't know if that's next week or the following week. We'll be talking all about the time blocking, Julie.
That's the last week.
Yeah, last week. So we'll definitely be going over that, calendars, ideas, and all that kind of fun stuff. So until next week, we can't wait to see those gifts and homeworks. Wake up, kick ass, and repeat.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.